Welcome to Learning to Glow, a show about wellness, skin health, and self-development. I'm your host, Jess. I'm a mom, entrepreneur, and skincare expert. I'm so excited to share tips on how to achieve healthy skin and bring amazing guests in the field of health, fitness, aging gracefully, and personal growth. Let's explore all different ways we can take care of ourselves as women, both inside and out, to truly shine. So let's get glowing. Hello and welcome to Learning to Glow. Thank you so much for being here today. We have Hayleigh in this episode, and we are discussing habits and how to get rid of the habits that are not serving us and how to make the good ones stick. Hayleyn Duncan is a mom to 3 kids and happily married to the mayor of San Clemente, California. She was the first runner-up in 2 Mrs. California pageants. She is the published author of the #1 selling journal and planner titled 90-Day Habits, which we talk about today. She is the president and founder of the Talega Toastmasters and the top 1% producer in Arbonne International. She is also the founder of the Spice Sisters Superfood Spices. Obviously, from Hayleigh's bio, she is a multi-passionate woman, and she shares how her mindset and her habits help change her life and her success. She mentioned so many tools in this episode and how they worked for her, and you really should check out this planner. It's incredible. She is offering all of my listeners 20% off with the code GLOW. So make sure to check out this planner at 90dayhabits.co. That's the same on Instagram. And also, it is the same for the website. She also sells these on Amazon. You can follow Hayleigh on Instagram at Hayleyn Duncan NVP. I'll link all of this in the show notes for you. I also want to thank those of you who have left a review. Our latest one I wanted to read to you because it was so sweet, and it's titled Perfect Podcast for Busy Women. I found a podcast that I love and can listen to on the go. The podcast is hosted by Jess, an entrepreneur, educator, and lifelong learner. She explores everything from nutrition, natural healthcare, menopause, fitness, skincare, and more with renowned special guests in the health and wellness industry. A new topic for every week will keep you coming back for more. So thank you for taking the time to do that. I know we're all busy, so it really means a lot to me. Thank you for sharing it with your friends. If it's something that you think your friends would enjoy, please send it to them. And here is our episode with Hayleigh. Enjoy. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Learning to Glow podcast. I am so honored that I have our special guest today, Hayleigh. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me.
So glad you're here. I like to start by having my guests introduce themselves, tell us a little bit about your background, what you do, and all of that good stuff.
Okay. I'm not used to introducing myself. I'm used to hearing about myself and being like, wow, was that really me? But I feel like we're not used to bragging about ourselves, right?
It's hard to do.
Yes.
It's hard. It's definitely easier for somebody to come in and be like, here's a praise report for you, about yourself. And it's awkward to do it yourself, but yes.
Especially as women, for sure, I feel like.
Absolutely.
So my name is Hayleigh. I live in San Clemente, California. I have 3 kids, ages 12, 10, and 7, and they are keeping me on my toes, especially the 12-year-old, the girl who is, very emotional. And my background is I have an MBA in business marketing, and I was a real estate broker. I still am a real estate broker, but I did that for a little over a decade until I found entrepreneurship, owning my own business. So now I have 3 businesses, which blows me away.
Wow.
I also am the top 1% of my network marketing company. And my husband, which I always love to brag about, is the mayor of our town here in San Clemente. I also, fun fact, last year, 2022, I decided that I wanted to push myself out of my comfort zone, and I actually did 4 Miss California pageants, and I got runner-up in 2 of them. I did not take home the crown, but I learned, I grew, I pushed myself out of my comfort zone, and so I always love to mention that as well. And then the last thing about me is I am an introvert. So doing things like podcasts and putting myself out there It never is comfortable for me, but I tell myself affirmations, and I know that my message should be heard by everyone, even if sometimes that means that I push myself out of my comfort zone.
That's wonderful. I love that you add that in because there's a lot of things that I do, especially as an entrepreneur that really push you outside of your comfort zone, and it's something that is such a muscle. Like, the more we do it and the more we see we can do it, it just builds that confidence, and you can kind of keep going and trying new things that are also going to be like, get to the point where your stomach hurts because it's so nerve-wracking, but it's putting yourself out there and trying something new. It's so good for you. It's so good for your brain, actually, I've talked to a lot of people on this podcast, and we talk about like brain health and different things, and trying new things is great. It's so great for your brain. So thank you for introducing yourself. And one thing that you didn't mention about yourself is that you're also an owner of a company that does journals.
Yes.
And yes, and that's something that we're going to talk about today, because I feel like your journal is about creating habits
Mhm.
and having habits stick. And I feel like that is something that everyone wants. We want to incorporate good habits into our life and make them stick. I think that's something that is universal,
Mhm.
and get rid of the habits that we don't find serving us anymore. So maybe we could start with good habits.
Mhm.
So you have a goal and you want to lose weight, or you want to wake up earlier in the morning and start exercising, or whatever the habit is that you want to introduce into your life. Like, how do you start, and
Mhm.
how do you have, introduce these good habits or these good behaviors, and turn them into habits?
Yes. I will start from the beginning. I'll make it quick, even though I am long-winded. I was someone as a young kid, I had big goals and big dreams. I grew up in a family, we didn't have a lot of money, but we had a lot of love. And I wasn't really necessarily surrounded by successful people. And so I really wasn't equipped with the tools, even though I had the big dreams and the big goals. And in fact, when someone asked me when I was a kid what I wanted to be when I grew up, I said rich. That's what I said. I didn't say teacher, I didn't say hairdresser, I said rich. So I had this idea in my head of I wanted to be successful. I didn't grow up with much money, and that was really important to me. I have had a journey of learning success does not equal money, but I still do love money. Everyone knows that about me. And so when I went to school, I really took the traditional route to making money, right? I thought, what would make me money instead of what is my purpose? What is my passion? So I did go to college, and then I got an MBA, really searching for something that's outside of myself instead of looking internally to what would make me happy. I got into real estate, and that was fun and exciting, and I had a lot of success, but I was missing that fulfillment piece. And I also was missing a lot of the habits that go with having success. So, success is fleeting if you don't know how to keep it. You can get lucky a couple times, but there really is a science behind habits and what people do that have success. So I then felt like I need to find my purpose, I actually met my husband, and he's so purpose driven. He was like, "It's not about the money." And he doesn't care at all about money. I'm like, "Actually, it is about the money." So we kind of met in the middle, and he's like, "What is your purpose? What is your passion?" And I really didn't know. I had to do some soul searching. And come to find out, when you're looking for something, it's looking for you. And that's when I was introduced to my first business. It's in network marketing. I went to an event, and I found my purpose and passion. It was really around helping women find their confidence. And so I grew a huge team, but I was stuck my first year in business as an entrepreneur. I also had a 2-month old and a 2-year-old at home. And I was a procrastinator. I was not intentional. I would wake up every day, and whatever life threw at me, I would take on. I felt overwhelmed. I felt stuck. And I had these big goals and these big dreams. And now I was finding my purpose, but I wasn't seeing results. And I literally had so much excitement and hope when I started this first business. And for a year, nothing. And I was just like, what is missing? And what I found, the missing link, is when I created this journal. And it actually started with reading Success Principles by Jack Canfield. So I wasn't really a reader. My reading material was, and this was 10 years ago, the People magazine. That was my reading material. But when I learned that people that have had success, they learn from people that have gone before them. And so these are things that are common sense, but sometimes when you don't grow up with that and you don't really know the tools available to you, it's new. It's new to learn about reading to help you grow from someone that has gone before you. So Success Principles talked about affirmations. What are you saying to yourself? And to me, I'm like, wait, you look in the mirror and you talk to yourself? That sounds crazy. I was the person that when I was a kid, I didn't even believe in Santa Claus. Like, I was like, he can't fit in the chimney and he can't deliver to all the kids. Like, I want to know facts. Like, how does talking to yourself positively, how does that impact your life? So that's when I started reading a lot of the science about law of attraction and energy. And so I created these systems of gratitude, affirmations, morning routines, habits that I needed for myself because I am a type Z. So I am all over the place if you let me be. And I had a gratitude journal over here. I had my affirmation post notes over here. I had my notepad over here. Then I was building a business, right? So then I had like people I was reaching out to. I had clients over here, like literally hot mess express, but it was working because I was starting to really get, once you do something for 21 days, it becomes a habit. And once you do something for 90 days, it is now who you are. So now my future self, who has these goals and dreams, who's already achieved them, she wakes up 30 minutes earlier. She, fuels her body. She works out. She reads a book a month. Like, that is my future self. Now I'm becoming my future self. And it's all because I'm making these habits part of who I am. It's no longer, it's like brushing your teeth. It's all subconscious, right? We don't wake up and think, oh, we got to brush our teeth today. We just like wake up and do it, right? We're not really, sometimes you're even like, wait, did I brush my teeth? You're like, oh yeah, I did, because it's who we are. It's part of who we are. It's part of our lifestyle. So the journal was created really out of something that worked for me. And I'm like, everyone needs to have these tools. And there was nothing that existed on the market that had all of it in one place. Now with this journal, which I know you're going to share a little bit of video. So this is, it looks super pretty. It's got gold coil. But with this journal, it's all about these foundational pieces that really help everyone, because we're all human. We fall off track, but what's your bounce back rate? How do you know how to get back on track? And that's the journal. So there are habits in here. It's a checkoff sheet that will help you. These are science backed. So it's going to help you start to become that version of yourself that has achieved your goals. Because if you think about it, the Jess that has the big vision for her business, is she sleeping in? Is she binging on Netflix? Is she eating a bunch of junk food? Probably not 90% of the time, right? She's probably going after her dreams. She's probably, doing her podcast, and she's exercising and getting up early. And so when we fall back and we, binge watch, that's not our future version of ourselves that achieved our goals. So how do we get back to that? And that's going to our journal and starting that morning of our checkoff sheet. So in the journal, you're going to find the habits that when you talk to a successful person, like, these are the things they're doing. They're actually getting sleep, because it's about the balance too. You can't just burn out, right? So 7 to 8 hours of sleep, no phone 30 minutes after waking up, make your bed, drink half your weight in water, a self-care routine, meditation, visualization, read 10 pages, take your vitamin supplements, movement, and perform an act of kindness. So those are the daily habits that are in the checkoff sheet for our 90-day habits journal. And it says the secret of your success is hidden in your daily routine. And so it's really about uncovering why we're at where we're at, because we've created the life we have right now. And so where can we kind of let go of some bad habits, and where can we incorporate some good habits? So for me, it's always starting with making my bed. I don't know about you, but that's just something I've done now for 10 years that really sets the tone for accomplishment, for organization, for clarity, for just setting up my day for success. And it's so easy to do, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot I want to talk about with what you just said, because I feel like starting a lot of this, incorporating new habits and like good habits, by default, you're kind of letting go of some of the bad habits that you aren't, that aren't serving you anymore. And you talked about like your morning routine with the journal having like a checklist. I feel like that's such a great, you're talking about a foundation, setting your day up the right way, because I have had plenty of mornings and sometimes this still happens, but the morning routine is out the window and for whatever reason, and it does make such a big negative impact on my day when I'm not starting it off with doing the things that I know is going to help me just succeed in that day. I feel like that's so true. And I did a really good morning routine podcast a few weeks ago, and it's like just adding in like those positive, this woman was talking about adding in positive affirmations. And can you talk a little bit more about that and like give us some examples? Because that was something that she mentioned. And it was like before she even got out of the bed, that was kind of like step one for her. And I love that a lot of what you're talking about is science-based, because some people will think this is fluff or woo-woo, but really there is data that, backs all of this up.
Oh yeah, I was that person. I was so questioning it. And now it's like, duh, the stories we tell ourselves create our reality. Like, that just makes so much sense. And so a lot of the stories we tell ourselves, they were actually planted into our subconscious mind between the ages of 0 and 7. And so a lot of reasons that we're doing certain things or have certain habits, like we don't even know the reason why. It's just in our subconscious mind. So the affirmations are about reprogramming our subconscious mind and telling us stories that serve us. Because no matter what, we're making up a story. So for my story was, I have a fear of public speaking. I don't work out. I don't like working out. I overspend. I'm not good with money. So those were the stories on repeat that I would tell myself. And I never thought anything was wrong with those stories. I'm like, that's who I am. However, those stories don't serve me. And they're really limiting me. They're limiting my life that I could have. They're limiting my family's life. And they're not good. So I want to rewrite those stories. And so I started with affirmations around, and another thing was confidence. You talked about that at the beginning. Confidence isn't something that we're born with. It's like a muscle. We have to use it every single day. And mindset is the same thing. You don't say an affirmation one day and then you think you're good, just like you wouldn't go to the gym one day and be like, I'm healthy. And so affirmations are the second most important part of this journal, 90-day habits. So the first part is gratitude, and there's 3 lines for that because it could be overwhelming if we have a whole page of gratitude, but everyone can write down 3 things they're grateful for. So you start with that in the morning, and then your affirmations. So I have my journal open right now, and my affirmation that I wrote down this morning was, I expand in success, abundance, and love every day and inspire others to do the same. So that is a belief that I have about myself, and I will start to make decisions based on that belief. The same thing around confidence. I used to say, I'm a calm and confident speaker. I still say that. And that is really how I have been able to do public speaking, is because I changed the story around what I was telling myself. I changed the story around money for myself. I have all these money affirmations that I constantly am saying. I have them pinned everywhere. I'm surrounded by affirmations. And so the cool thing about this, it's not just something that, because honestly, I started with affirmations when my business was a year in, and it wasn't. And I read that book and I'm like, okay, I think the mindset piece is the missing link for me, because I'm a hard worker. It has nothing to do with that. So I started saying affirmations, and I went from basically non-existent business to doing a 40,000 a month in sales business in just 6 months, 2 90-day cycles from saying affirmations. And I would say, like, I'm a magnet. Successful people are drawn to me. Opportunities are coming my way. And I'm confident. I'm healthy. I would say these affirmations, the same ones over and over again all throughout the day. They started becoming true. People were drawn to me. My business was growing. And so I saw it firsthand, and I saw it really quickly. It took me 6 months to get to where my business was like exploding. But by day 3, I saw proof of my affirmations. It was crazy. I was like, wait, what? I'm just going to keep saying this. I don't know if it's coincidence or what, but the things I was saying were coming true. And I have seen that over and over again in the last 10 years of entrepreneurship, but also being a mom. I mean, my kids, one thing I do love about this, and for anyone listening, is, as women, as moms, we're always thinking about other people. And we think maybe saying affirmations or doing self-care is, we don't have time for that. But really, these little ones, our husbands, our families, they're watching us. And we have a ripple effect. So when we're saying our affirmations, when we're feeling good, we're a better mom, we're a better wife. But the cool thing is my kids say affirmations now because they watch mom do it. I don't even have to say it. They do their gratitude journal in the morning. I don't ask them to do it, and we all know this is true, but they do what we do, not what we say. And so set that example for your family, for your kids. Even if you don't want to do it yourself, you might be more inclined to be like, I want to set my family up for success. So I'm going to lead by example, and I'm going to start these habits. And it doesn't take a long time. I always say it's so easy to do, so easy not to do. And that's why I love the journal, because you just keep the journal in one spot. And I love a morning routine, but if you're a new mom or you have young kids, like sometimes a morning routine is just not in the cards for you. And I used to feel very guilty about that. Like, I can't have success unless I wake up at 5. But the cool thing about this checkoff sheet is you could do your reading in the middle of the day. You could do your movement, at night. So you could do all of these habits and you can sprinkle them in throughout your day. But the cool thing is you get to look at this and remind yourself, oh, I didn't perform an act of kindness today. I'm going to reach out to my friend and just check in on her or compliment her or tell her I believe in her. Those are the kind of things where it starts to become who you are. And now you're not even really needing to remember to do an act of kindness. You're doing your gratitude every day. And now you're just a more positive person. You're more grateful. You see things differently. So it just starts to become who you are. And that's my long-winded about affirmations.
Yeah, I love that. I love what you said earlier about, that was who you are. Like you said in the beginning of that was, I don't work out. I'm not a person who exercises. I don't like it. To it change. Now you work out all the time. I can see it on your Instagram. So it's funny too, because that just goes to show like that repetition, how effective that is, because that's never been something that's hard for me. I've always like connected exercise and feeling good. And like, so where that's like a difficult thing for some people, like to exercise or go to the gym, like that's something that I really look forward to. It's just like you said, it is who I am. Like, I think I'm just a person who likes to exercise and I like to try new types of exercise so I don't get bored, because I get bored sometimes. And it's really just truly a part of me. But then that can go for something negative too. And, like I'm a person who can't do X, Y, or Z, and then you can't, because it's like you're just stuck in that. When I first started my wellness journey, I had already been in the skincare industry for years, working on client skin and as an educator for multiple skincare brands. When I learned about how the toxins in our personal care and beauty products could have a negative impact on our health, I knew I needed to make a change. I was used to the result-driven products that I was working with, and I was not happy with the natural products on the market at that time. Although they were safer and cleaner, they did not meet my expectations for results. I created Simply Just Skincare to deliver the results my clients demanded from their products while using natural, toxin-free ingredients. You can check out my clients' results and reviews on my website, simplyjustskincare.com. In 30 days, my clients have reported more hydrated skin, less appearance of fine lines and wrinkles, and more of an overall glow. Our top sellers include our Repair Toner, our Hydrating Undo Serum with hyaluronic acid, and more. I am offering my listeners 20% off their first order with code PODCAST. Check it out in the link in my show notes to get glowing today. So I guess that would be like starting with this process. Do you have people say, like, I have a goal that I want to incorporate and have like down in 90 days? Or do some people say, I have this habit I want to kick to the curb and I want to get rid of that in 90 days? Like, what are some of the what do your people who buy this do? Like, and how do they do it in that same way?
The 90-day habits journal is really for anyone who has dreams, has goals, or feels stuck, overwhelmed, and wants more intention in their life. It does start off by really digging deep and finding your why. So that was really important to me when I thought my why was money, right? But it truly isn't. We want to dig deep, peel back the layers of the onion. And so the start of the journal is really getting to know yourself. And I realized that a lot of times, like, you ask me questions and you find out about me. Do I ever ask myself questions like, how am I feeling today? Why am I acting this way? What triggered me, right? We don't do that. We just kind of brush it under the rug. So really getting to know yourself. What drives you? What fuels you? What makes you feel good? Do more of that. And that is the first part of and I love that it's just like a page that you answer questions, because no one has time to think about like their vision and all of that. Then there's also a vision board piece in this journal. So you're actually putting your dreams and goals on your vision board. So I'm looking at my vision board right now and it says main character energy. So that's why I'm on this podcast, because I want to be the main character in my life. I'm so used to being behind the scenes. That's my comfort zone, but that doesn't serve anyone. So what do you want to be to the world? What do you want to be to your family? Make a vision board out of that. I mean, my friend put bar stools that she wanted, and those were vision boards are so powerful. She got her bar stools, and you don't even know how you're going to get what's on your vision board. So that is part of the journal. And then I love that the journal also incorporates, in addition to like your daily habits, it incorporates things to keep us on track. So a weekly meal planner. It has Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, all the way through the following Sunday of what you're going to plan for meals and a shopping list. So it's all perforated. So you bring it to the grocery store, you tear it out, you put it on your fridge. Because it is about, if we're not, if we're just, and that was me busy in my business and then not fueling my body and not being stressed because there's no food in the house. I don't know what to cook for dinner, and adding that layer of pressure, right? So now on Sunday, I have this ritual where I do the weekly meal planner. I feel so good doing that. And then right next to the weekly meal planner is the weekly budget. So the weekly budget is all the whole thing about I'm not good with money, right? So I avoided money. But now every week I'm looking at what I budgeted and what I actually spent. I know where my money's going. It's very empowering. And then you get into cycle syncing. So that's a whole podcast episode, but cycle syncing I have been doing for the past year. It is all about coordinating your personal appointments, your business appointments, what you eat, how you work out with your cycle. So it's just this practice of adjusting your daily habits based on to what your hormones are doing, which is so important because women aren't on a 24-hour cycle. We're on a 30-day cycle. Sometimes our estrogen is high. There's certain ways we're going to feel to nurture our body when our estrogen is high. And so there is a cycle syncing cheat sheet, and it tells you which phase you're in and what you should do for work, nutrition, and wellness in each of those phases. And then you can track it. So I know exactly what day I'm at my cycle. I know that's how I plan my whole calendar. So I want to do a podcast interview when I am in my luteal / ovulation stage, because that's when you are magnetic. That's when you feel good. So those are things that you can do to incorporate just to really relieve the pressure of like, gosh, I'm not motivated today. Well, that's because you're in your luteal and you're supposed to go introspective and you're supposed to organize today. You're not supposed to be running around like crazy. And so cycle syncing is a great thing to keep track of. And then you have also your non-negotiables for the day. So the reason why we have it 90 days is because one, it will start to become part of your lifestyle. But the biggest reason, and you mentioned this, is like, okay, I have a goal 90 days from now. Most people will have a goal 90 days from now. They're going to hit it hard, right? The first week. Let's say you have a weight loss goal or you get a gym membership. You're all about it. You're hitting it hard. You're so proud of yourself. You're doing so well. You're starting to see some results, right? You're going to the gym every day. You're eating healthy. And then sabotage or limiting belief comes up. And now you're only a month in and you decide, you're not seeing results fast enough. And so you decide you're going to not do it anymore, or you're going to slow down, or you're not going as hard anymore. Well, guess what? all those things you did that 30 days, you're going to be back at zero. You just are. However, whatever you do in life, if you give it 90 days and you put blinders on, and you don't look either way, you don't track everything, and you just put 90 days, like, I'm going to do this for 90 days. I'm going to be consistent. I'm not going every day. I don't have to hit it hard, but I'm going to be consistently going to the gym 3 days a week for 90 days. I'm going to be 80% of the time eating healthy for 90 days. Guess what? You're going to build new habits, but you're also going to see results because everything happens in 90-day cycles. And so even as an entrepreneur in my business, I noticed that I would work really hard and I would look up 30 days and be like, gosh, I've worked my butt off. I'm, totally burned out and I see a little results, but now I'm going to take a break. And now everything, all those seeds planted, they're basically going to die. Instead, be consistent for 90 days. Do a little bit every single day for 90 days. And where you'll be is going to be huge, huge strides. Not only that, sometimes you have a goal and you don't hit it in the 90 days. I've been there. It will take maybe another 90-day cycle. I had a huge goal for myself, and it actually took 3 90-day cycles. 3 90-day cycles is not a long time to hit a huge goal for yourself at all. But I didn't give up. I didn't backtrack. I just kept my head down and put blinders on. So definitely, if you have a 90-day goal, this journal will help you stay consistent and you will see results. There's no doubt in my mind that you will see results by using this journal. But it may take a few 90-day cycles, and that's okay.
I like that that you said that about just staying consistent, because that's so true. If you are going hard at something, there's that chance of burnout, and then you have that, that point that you get to where you're like, I'm just going to give up because this is too hard. But being consistent doesn't, it just kind of takes away that I have to be perfect thing. That be consistent is my word of the year, because it's so powerful. It doesn't mean I have to be perfect all the time, and it doesn't mean I can't mess up, but you just have to keep going. And I feel like that is the best advice when you're trying to get something new, like cemented into your who you are and how you see yourself. So that is so helpful. And thank you so much for sharing all of this with us. I know everybody is going to be interested in finding out more about your journal. So if you could tell us, where can we find you and where can we find your journal so that people can learn more about it?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram. It's at Hayleyn Duncan, ENVP. And then the journal is 90dayhabits.co on Instagram, TikTok, and our website, 90-Day Habit. You can also find us on Amazon. And I definitely will hook you up with a discount code for anyone listening so you can get your hands on the journal. And I want to leave that with what you said is just progress over perfection. And that is a big reason why I have the journal with perforated pages. So if you miss the day, you just rip it off and throw it away. You don't need to feel bad. I missed a day in my journal. I miss days all the time. We're human, but it's about your bounce back rate. How quickly can you start over and get back on track? And that's how this journal keeps you accountable.
I love it. Well, I will link all of your information and the code in the show notes. And then if you guys have any questions, please reach out to Hayleyn. And thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you. That was fun.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode. Please subscribe and review so we can reach more people who want to learn to glow alongside us. See you next time.